First of all, welcome back to the podcast. I'm PH, your host, and you're listening to 1983. How many of you listening out there own some form of cryptocurrency? Did you know that a good portion of our governing body does as well? Regardless of whether they admit to owning the coins personally, or if they have someone else holding crypto for them, there is a solid multi-$100,000 investment into cryptocurrencies from our congressman. Decrypt.co has an interesting article that I'll leave in the description that talks about 5 congressmen that actually report owning crypto. And I know the rule is they're all supposed to report what they own, but we all know that doesn't always happen. Why is this an important topic to talk about? There are some massive red flags that you need to know about. One topic that has come up recently is that Congress is basically exempt from insider trading laws. Even though they do not necessarily own stock in the companies they affect, a lot of their family members do. It should be illegal for elected officials to tip off family members that a regulation is about to affect a company. Those family members then get advance notice that allows them to decide to sell or buy stock in certain companies before the regulation is announced. As a matter of fact, it is illegal. But this is looked at as an ethics problem. And once again, the government uses the do as I say, not as I do rule. BusinessInsider.com talks about this in another article that I've tagged. And I would recommend reading into it if you want to be infuriated of a tale of hypocrisy. I know when I read it the first time, I was super unhappy with the fact that they don't actually ever get charged with anything. It's really just an ethics issue that they deal with internally. So why haven't they regulated the hell out of crypto? Part of me fully believes that it was to capitalize off the fluctuations of the volatile market before any government hand was allowed to touch it. Another reason is that it is so hard to track. A decentralized currency is almost impossible to stop. And with the ability to purchase goods from the dark web or even legitimate websites and companies now, there will seemingly be no way to stop people from using it. They can't even break the encryption that guards the transactions. So how do you tax something that you can't read? One way that they will come after your crypto is by forcing banks not only to track every microtransaction, like they already do, but also upload that information directly to the IRS. We saw a bill attempting to do this earlier in the year, trying to force banks to tell on you if you spend or receive more than $600 in a transaction. Now, there are ways around this, especially using digital currency. But when you cash out your crypto, if you made any profit, it's supposed to be taxed as a form of income. Here's where we get into why I think we're close to having more stringent regulation on the crypto world. The government has been forking out money hand over fist to try and quote-unquote help people during the fake COVID crisis. Really what they've been doing is covering debts owed to big companies, but we'll go into that on another episode. The point I'm trying to make is if you can't raise taxes in the normal sense to cover big expenses without pissing off the populace, what do you do to pay the bills? You sit on a new form of currency, wait until a good percentage of the population buy into it, sell off your portion, and then install new regulations to try and capitalize off of taxing quote-unquote new money. It's what the government has done for years. They did it with alcohol, they did it with tobacco, they even slit your throat at the gas station. Who out there is happy about paying $4 a gallon knowing that like 45% of that goes to the government? I'm very unhappy about it. But we'll do another episode on that. How about that? Crypto is addicting, not chemically, but who didn't get a high when Doge went to 70 cents earlier last year? Who owned Bitcoin, like full Bitcoins, bought it at a very low price, and then it hit $55,000? I'm sure there was tons of people out there that were super happy to see that happen. This is what the government does. They wait until people are addicted to something, then they tax the hell out of it. Don't get me wrong, weed is going to be taxed way beyond where it's being taxed right now. It seems like a good policy for ensuring tax income for the rest of time. This is usually where I do my normal outro, but I have a couple things to talk about. We have a Rumble channel now. I'm a little bit behind on uploading episodes. But we also have a Patreon as well, and it only has one level. I'm not going to be begging people for money. I'm not going to be putting things behind a paywall. If you feel like donating to the podcast, feel free, go click on the link. It's like $5. If you can't afford it, no worries. Share it with your friends and family. We always appreciate that. As usual, references are available in the description. Also, one of my personal buddies has made a YouTube video about bass fishing. It's actually super interesting. He catches some slobber knockers. His link is in the description. Go check it out. And as promised before, the alien writing photos that we found nearby my house, they've been uploaded to a sister podcast's website. The link is in the description for that as well. Thank you for listening to this episode. Thank you for listening to the podcast. We appreciate every person that takes the time to listen to it. If you have any comments, head over to the Rumble channel and leave comments over there. We have moved away from social media for a little while. We don't really agree with what Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, all of them are doing. We're working on getting an account set up on, what is the Donald Trump one called? Anyway, we're working on getting a social media account set up over there so that we can interact with people that are listening. Yeah, if you like the podcast, make sure to check out the other episodes, and don't forget to share it with family and friends. Stay safe. God bless. Until next time.